Hey guys, I'm Lauren Trishelle and welcome to my channel. Okay, so today we are doing a bridesmaid makeup tutorial. I am heading to a wedding later and I am in the wedding. So yeah, this is my bridesmaid makeup. It's a little bit of a get ready with me as well, I suppose, but mainly like a bridesmaid makeup tutorial. And we are going for a like soft antique rose or soft rusty rose bridesmaid theme. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so first things first, I am going to apply my primer. For bridesmaid makeup, I advise against using any products that have SPF in it, just because, you know, usually at weddings there is flash photography, and when there's flash photography, you will get a lot of flashback when you have SPF in the products that you're using. So I am not going to use any products with SPF today. I am gonna go in with my tried and true primer. This is the e.l.f. Cosmetics Power Grip Primer. This is the big one, the big gripper, but I'm gonna go ahead and apply that. And as I'm waiting for this primer to set, I'm gonna go ahead and wet my beauty sponge. I'm currently just using one from Real Techniques. Okay, so primer is applied. I have my makeup sponge wet, and now I'm gonna go in with my foundation. Currently, I've been wearing the Anastasia Beverly Hills Impeccable Blurring Second Skin Matte Foundation. This one is in the shade 00 In. This shade is actually slightly too light for me, so I will darken it up with a powder in a little bit, but they just didn't have my exact shade in store. The shade down from this was actually way too dark, so I decided to go lighter than darker because, you know, you can darken up a light foundation with powders, bronzers, blushes, but if you start out with a foundation that's already too dark, there's not much you can do to correct that. You guys probably noticed that the robe is making another appearance, but that's because I do have my bridesmaid dress on underneath this robe, and I didn't want to get any makeup on my bridesmaid dress, obviously, so I threw the robe on top. Okay, that's why the robe is making another appearance, another guest appearance. Guest star, my robe. Also, I've noticed with this foundation that a little goes a long way. This is a newer foundation that I'm still trying out, and for a while I had such a hard time with it because I was simply just using too much. And you know, each foundation is different, so that's something that it's just trial and error. You have to figure out how to use a new foundation. So if you're currently using this foundation and you're struggling with it, my recommendation to you is just use less. Like seriously, a little goes a long way with this one. I'm also gonna go ahead and take some of that foundation down onto my neck and my chest. I typically don't apply makeup on my actual body, but I am for this occasion, just because y'all know I have a lot of skin problems, and so sometimes I get it's weird. Sometimes I get just like an anxiety rash on my chest and neck. So this is going to be a big day. I am speaking in the wedding. So I just want to have some makeup on my chest and neck in case I get that. Well, I most likely will get that anxiety rash. So I just want to have some makeup to like help cover it just in case. Okay, I'm pleased with that. Next, it's time to go in with powder. Like I was telling y'all, my foundation is slightly too light. To help darken that up, I have been using the L'Oreal Infallible Blur-Fection Longwear Loose Setting Powder. This one is in the shade Brightening Deep Pink. So normally this shade would be too dark for me because obviously I don't have like a deep skin tone. But since the foundation is too light for me, they actually end up meeting in the middle and they create a passable look, in my opinion, okay? So I am just going to take a fluffy powder brush. I'm going to dip into that powder, and then I'm just going to blot it onto my face. When you're applying powder, you don't want to do sweeping motions. You want to do packing motions because a sweeping motion will transfer product all across your face. And you don't want to transfer product, you just want to pack it in where it already is sitting. Beautiful, and I am gonna go ahead and put some powder on my chest and neck as well, since I put foundation on those also. Beautiful, and then real quick, before we move on to the next step, I am going to spray some setting spray on my neck and chest area. Not my face though, because I'm not done with my face, but I am done with my neck and chest, so I wanna go ahead and set it. And I have been using the L'Oreal Infallible 3-Second Setting Mist. This stuff is amazing. I actually highly recommend this. You definitely should go get a bottle of this setting spray, especially for big events like a wedding or something, because this setting spray is great. Yeah. Perfect. I've got my neck and my chest set. Words I never thought I would say. Now it's time to go in with bronzer. And I'm just gonna like leave this open so I can let that dry a little bit. Y'all, I have actually been using this bronzer for years and years because I am trying to empty it. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Matte Bronzer. It is old, it is beat up. You can tell that I've used it a ton. So it looks like this now because I've used it so much over the years and I'm trying to completely pan it. So that's my goal. But yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and apply bronzer. I'm using like a kind of like a flat, dense packing brush is how I would describe it. And I'm just going to pick up some of that product. I'm going to tap it into my cheekbone line. Just tap it in. You don't want to do a lot of sweeping motions for this either. You really just want to like tap, tap, tap and just kind of pack it in there. And I'm also going to bring some of that down to my jawline just to give some definition there as well. And then I'm also going to bring some of that bronzer up on my like forehead line, just up here by the hairline. And I'm going to tap that into the corner of my hairline and then down along the hairline. And I'm going to meet it right here. Beautiful. And of course, we don't want to leave our bronzer looking like this, so we definitely need to still blend it out. So what I do to blend it out is I just use my beauty sponge that I use to apply my foundation. Since it has some residue product left on it, it really works well for blending up bronzer, blush, stuff like that. And it's still moist, so I'm just going to tap it onto my face like so, and honestly, it will do the work for you. And make sure that you also blend out that jawline. I think sometimes it's easy to forget about blending out the jawline. Perfect. So we will be moving on to eyeshadow shortly. Obviously, we need to prep our eyelids before we can apply eyeshadow. So I don't use like an eyeshadow primer. I've always just used concealer, and that has always worked perfectly well for me. Do what works best for you, because I know eyeshadow primers do work better for some people, but for me, concealer has always worked better, so that's what I go with. Lately, I have been using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. This one is in the shade Ivory. This is not my favorite concealer. I actually don't really recommend this concealer. I think e.l.f. Cosmetics has a much better concealer at a lower price point as well. Their 16-hour camo concealer is so much better in my opinion. This is just the one that I have on hand. This is the one that I've been using lately, so I'm going to use it today because when I buy makeup, I use it. I don't just use it one time and then throw it away, unless I have like an allergic reaction to it or it's just like so bad that it's actually unusable. This one is fine. I can work with it, so I'm going to use it. Okay, so now the eyelids are prepped for eyeshadow, so we can get into the eyeshadow. Today, we will be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance eyeshadow palette. I absolutely love this palette. This is an oldie, but a goodie. I've had it for years and years now, and it's always been a good one. It's always pulled through for me, so I think this is a great bridesmaid makeup palette. It's a 14 pan palette. You have a really great range of shades. A lot of bridesmaid makeup is like the soft, like rose glam, kind of what we're doing today. So you can obviously use like this half of the palette for that. And then if you want to add some definition and darken up your look, if you want to go for more of a full glam look, you can use this side of the palette for that. So there's a full range here. It's a great palette and it performs amazing. It's very pretty. Okay, so since we're going for like a soft antique rusty rose look, because that's kind of the color of the dress that I'm wearing, I want to dip into the shade Tempera. I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush and I'm going to swoop that shade along the brow bone. I want this to act as like a background shade. That is like literally the color of my skin, but that works perfectly. Honestly, it does what I need it to do. Now, using that same brush, I'm going to dip into the shade Burnt Orange, and I am just going to lightly, very, very lightly, apply that kind of below Tempera. Because again, I want this to be very soft and subtle, so we're just gonna lightly do this. And I'm also going to bring some of that shade Burnt Orange below the eye onto the lower lash line. And I am feeling like I want to blend some of that shade out a little bit. So I'm going to dip back into Tempera, and I feel like I pronounce it differently every time I say it, but I'm gonna dip back into that shade, and I'm going to swoop it along the brow line again, just to blend those two shades together. Okay, perfect. So I've got both of those shades applied. I am now going to subtly go into the shade Red Ochre. I think it's going to bring out a lot of that like antique and rustiness that we're going for. I'm going to go in with a small pointed detail brush. I'm going to just lightly dip into that shade, and then I'm going to lightly apply it in the outer corner just to add some definition to the eye look. I want this to just be very subtle, very light, and I'm going to bring some of that to the lower lash line as well to add some definition. And I'm going to spread that into the center of the lid. I definitely want to add a shimmer in this look. I am going to use the shade Primavera. So I am going to take a flat packing brush. I'm going to dip into that shade Primavera, and then I'm going to apply it on the inner corner. And I'm going to spread it towards the center of the lid. I'm also going to put some in the like very inner corner right here. I now want to add some more like pink hues into this eye look. So I'm going to apply the eyeliner. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On like waterproof eyeliner. This one is in the shade Love Drug, but I'm just going to pop this on the waterline. Beautiful, that did exactly what I needed it to. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do those eyebrows. I have been using the Maybelline Express Brow Ultra Slim. This one is in the shade Deep Brown. I am just going to whip that on real quick. Perfect, brows are done. So next step is blush then. I think I'm going to mix two different blushes together. So I'm using my e.l.f. Cosmetics powder blush palette. This one is in the shade range Light. This one is in my 2026 Project Pans, so that's exciting. But I am going to mix together those two bottom shades. The one on the right is more of an orange gold, and the one on the left has more pink hues in it. So I think if I combine those two, I will get the desired like antique rusty rose color that I'm looking for. So I'm just gonna go into both of those shades, just tap it on my cheekbones. Perfect. And then in order to blend that out a little bit, I'm gonna grab my beauty sponge again, and I'm just gonna tap on just like we did when we blended out the bronzer. Yay. So then we have highlighter. I am going to use my Hard Candy Just Glow highlighting palette. This one is in the shade range Struck by Light. This one is also in my 2026 Project Pans. And I am going to dip in with my finger. I'm gonna dip into that bottom left cream highlighter. And I'm just going to lightly dab it on with my finger. I'm going to apply it on the temples, and then also just kind of spread it down onto my cheekbone. Beautiful. Ooh, that got way too high up there. Okay, beautiful. Next, we can do the setting spray. So I am just going to use that L'Oreal Infallible 3-second setting mist spray again, but this time, obviously, it's gonna go on the face.
I love that stuff so much. It's so amazing.
Okay, now that is a fast drying one, like it really is 3 seconds, but I like to give it a little extra time just to be safe. So as I wait for that to dry, I'm gonna go ahead and pick out a lipstick, and then I'm gonna pop on some mascara, and I'll meet you back to show you the final look. Okay, and this is today's final look. So this is my soft, antique, rusty rose bridesmaid makeup tutorial. As for the lips, I ended up going with one of the Anastasia Beverly Hills like tinted lip glosses. This one is in the shade Parfait. And then for mascara, I just used the Tarte Man-Eater mascara in black. This one is a tried and true. This mascara is awesome. I call it my glam mascara because I always use it for my glam looks because it's just a really good mascara. So those are the two products I went with for that. Thank you guys so much for getting ready with me. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope that you were able to learn something. Let me know in the comments below, honestly, if this was a good tutorial for you, if there was anything you wished I had like improved on or anything, just let me know all your thoughts in the comments below. but I have got a wedding to get to, so I've really got to get going. So if you liked this video, make sure to give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below, subscribe, ring the bell, do all the things, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Time to go to a wedding. Bye-bye.